For those that missed it, during this year's Game Awards, we got our very first in-game look at Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, a brand new VR video game from developer In Dreams releasing next year for the MetaQuest 2 and Sony's PSVR 2. And as the norm when it comes to any Ghostbusters trailer, today we are gonna break it down. So let's not waste any time, let's go ahead and dive in and see what was shown.
San Francisco. The city by the bay is under siege by forces not of this world.
And to still my beating heart, the trailer begins with good ol' Ernie Hudson, and he's heard talking about San Francisco. As for those that don't know, Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, it is going to have players start their very own Ghostbusters franchise in a brand new city. And you guessed it, that city, it is San Francisco. From there we get some montage shots of people dressed in standard Ghostbusters uniforms, which does seem a bit strange, given that Sony Pictures VR, they tasked developer In Dreams to create and evolve the already established equipment seen within the films. So you're going to see that the gear shown here, and the gear seen in the gameplay footage, they don't really match up. However, this sequence, it really does drive home the fact that Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, it is going to support up to 4-player co-op, which I don't know about you, but I cannot wait to experience in VR. Alright, and I just talked about equipment, and we got our very first look at a PKE meter, and its basis appears to be a smartphone. Which, you know what? I don't hate this idea. In fact, I really love that the grip of the meter has been made to look like a VR controller. Now, also seen in this shot is the vastly different, at least when compared to what was seen in the films, proton packs, along with the apparent customizable player models. Which we gotta say, there's nothing really uniform when it comes to these characters. Each Buster's overall design and appearance, they are crazy unique. Alright, and now here we've got ourselves a ghost. And you know what? This thing, it's kind of adorable. Should also mention the slime on the floor, likely a hazard to slow the player down. Back to the equipment side of things, the Neutrino Wand, the Proton Blaster, it is likely the one piece of equipment that has seen the biggest change. Especially the positioning of the handles, which has been made to mimic how someone would typically hold a set of VR controllers. In fact, the trailer provides a visual aid right here. So for those out there that may be losing their mind, questioning why they changed the wand so dramatically, it's pretty apparent that it is to draw a parallel between what you see in the game and what you're holding in your hands, to make everything feel one in the same and more engrossing. Alright, now moving on from there, the mini puffs, they do make an appearance, likely being used as another hazard to slow the player down. You can splat them, oh the humanity. And we should also touch on there is another enemy shown in this shot, some ghost fish. In fact, these are pretty similar to what was seen in 2009's Ghostbusters the video game. As well, I'm kind of unsure as to what this is up here, but given that there is a Ghostbusters logo, maybe this is an area where you and your fellow Ghostbusters can restock your inventory, or potentially swap your gear out. We've got some 4-player ghost busting showing the capture sequence, which does include a wireless ghost trap that can be activated by another piece of gear made to resemble a VR controller. Now, given that the activation of the trap, it looks like it's going to require that piece to be in your hand, it's very likely that you will not be able to use the trap and wand at the same time. So whoever is trapping the ghost, that is going to be their job. While the other 3 Ghostbusters, they're going to be in charge of positioning the ghost near or on top of the ghost trap. Things become a bit more serious as we get this great shot of the Ghost Lord, who appears to stay puffed it up a little bit, at least when it comes to his menacing size. As well, more customization options, they can be seen with the 4 Ghostbusters on screen.
We're gonna need a bigger trap.
And wait a minute, did we totally just get a Jaws reference? Oh, and I should also point out my love for this remix of the Ghostbusters theme song that plays.
Ghostbusters, Rise of the Ghost Lord, coming in 2023.
Developer In Dreams, can you release this? I mean, I want to hear this whole track. It's already my jam. Now that was the trailer to Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, but before I end off this video, I do want to touch on some criticism that I have seen, namely the visual style of the game, and comparing it to that teaser trailer that was released back in April of this year. Some people, they've been saying, oh, what has happened to the game? Visually, it has taken such a step back. Well, for those that don't know, what was seen in this trailer, it was a pre-rendered cinematic, with once again, what was shown at the Game Awards being our very first look at in-game footage. That's why there's a bit of a leap when it comes to the visuals. Also, it should be stated that this new Ghostbusters VR game, it is playable once again on the Meta Quest 2. It is an all-in-one VR headset, meaning it doesn't plug up to a game console or a PC, and with that, there are some hardware limitations. And as someone who's been playing the Meta Quest 2 for the better part of this year, and the fact that this footage, it is pre-alpha, I gotta say, this looks pretty good. And look, I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to defend this game, because there are a few things I would change, because I myself, I would prefer if the game did look a little bit more, at least aesthetically, like the original 1984 Ghostbusters. You gotta keep in mind that you're looking at a VR game on your computer screen. It's not really meant to be seen this way, especially given in VR, it is gonna be displayed in 3D. There's been quite a few VR games that I've seen trailers for that I've watched on YouTube, and then I've either played a demo or purchased them on the Meta Quest 2, and it is an entirely different experience. But regardless, 4-player Ghostbusters co-op in VR, that is something I cannot wait to try out. And hopefully you feel the same way and you cannot wait until Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord arrives next year for the Meta Quest 2 and Sony PSVR 2. As always, be sure to keep it locked to GhostbustersNews.com and Ghostbusters News right here on YouTube for future updates on the game. That's all I've got for you here right now. As always, subscribe. If you'd like to join up with Ghostbusters News, check out our Patreon page. A link to that is down below in the description, and I'll see you right back here next time.